Yes, you are so far.
Welcome.
They're about to come. Okay. There's a lot of pressure. That's never happened.
The rest of the city attends online. So.
You can represent all of the public today.
All right, let's get started with our January 8th Planning Commission meeting. We start every meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, so please stand. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, can we get a roll call vote, please? Oh, what was that?
Put the mics down so she can hear you better.
Thank you. Chair Erickson,
Here.
Vice Chair Anderson is excused. Commissioner Tippett,
Here.
Commissioner Snow,
Here.
Commissioner Lidke,
Here.
Commissioner Edwards,
Here.
Commissioner Kasparian.
Here.
Thank you. All right, did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from December 11th?
Yes.
Any comments?
I had none.
I have none.
I
Sir?
make a motion to approve the minutes from December 11th, 2024 meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, getting on to the public hearing part of this evening. Midvale City initiated request to amend sections of Title 17 of the Midvale City Municipal Code. This amendment adds new parking standards for tennis and pickleball only commercial recreation facilities. Liz is presenting this evening.
Maybe a different slide of this presentation. It should be at the top of the presentation.
Slide one.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you.
All right, so yes, this is a text amendment that creates specific parking standards for tennis and pickleball only facilities in the mixed-use State Street, transit-oriented development, Bingham Junction area, regional commercial clean industrial, and transit-oriented development overlay zone. We are proposing just adding a set of specific standards for them based on the amount of courts that they are holding within the facility. The current commercial recreation facility standards are quite high for these facilities that tend to be a large amount of square footage. So this was prompted by the next item that's on the agenda, which is a pickleball facility. And, you know, for someone like them, they have six courts in the facility, and based on their square footage, the code would have required them to provide like over 90 parking stalls, which they could never fill even if you had way more people than could ever be playing on a court at a time. So that's how we came up with doing the parking count per courts, and we thought 6 would be enough for people typically play pickleball and tennis at a maximum, and that leaves some room for guests or other people that might be playing or rotating on. But we just wanted to get your thoughts if you feel like that's a reasonable amount of parking. But otherwise, so we're happy to discuss the amount of parking in the code, but we did find that it meets the objectives of the general plan and purposes of the title, that it promotes, you know, cohesive development and is a wise use of space. And then I do have a recommended motion. Any questions for me?
The only question is, why does the city bring this forward instead of the applicant in this scenario?
Typically, if we find that the amendment is something reasonable that the city would be interested in doing anyway, we'll bring it forward in addition instead of having an applicant pay for something that the city would probably do anyway.
Thank you.
So
Where do we stand with other cities on the, what do other cities have?
that's a really good question. I didn't do any research, actually.
That's right. I'll Google it.
So thanks.
Maybe we're pioneers.
I know that these specialty pickleball facilities have been cropping up everywhere. I actually didn't look to see what other cities were doing for their parking standards. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I think 6, I mean, the pickleball courts I've been to and stuff, I think 6 makes sense.
Okay.
You're not, it doesn't feel like it's an apartment complex where you get 1.5 per court. But you
Sure.
have 4 players.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would it go, like, would the max occupancy of the building govern in this, I guess, in this instance?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If we're saying 6 per court and then the building only allows for so many, so many people, is,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. All right, we'll open this up to public hearing. Oh, were there any comments? No. Did you receive? Okay.
Seeing there's no public comment, I move that we close the public portion.
I'll second.
Is this an all in favor one? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Discussion?
It makes sense to me. I think the problem, like Liz said, is, you have so many square feet and you're required to have 90 parking spaces, but you only need 40. It makes sense to me to, and then it also, places that may not have a lot of parking, it forces them to have parking rather than trying to park all over the place like the apartments and condos do.
So the only issue I see is, right now, it's going to be a pickleball facility. When that changes, do the parking recommendations change? If another business comes in there, do they then have to have different parking requirements?
Yes, that's a normal thing that we would look at anytime a new use comes into, for their business license, we would make sure that they have
Okay.
adequate parking for whatever the use is. And I don't know that I stressed it enough, it would be only for pickleball and tennis only facilities. So anything that does a mixed court that also has basketball or serves as more of a traditional recreation center would meet the higher parking standards. Yeah.
Is this indoor and outdoor? Or is it just an indoor facility?
It's just indoor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I was trying to think if there was any way we could classify that. I think it
Yeah.
would just be for indoor.
Okay.
Do we need to classify it? Like a park?
Because I'm just
Do
thinking
we
some
ever
of the,
have any private?
yeah, some of the buildings that have.
Yeah, because the Sandy one is packed in the old Lowe's building.
It's an indoor facility or it's an outdoor one?
It's indoor.
So I just,
I know for sure this standard would govern indoor. I'm not sure. I think outdoor uses typically have their own parking standards, so.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't have any other comments.
okay. I would entertain a motion.
I move that we recommend approval of the amendment as provided in the attachments with the finding noted in the staff report.
I'll second.
Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Chair Erickson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kasparian,
Yes.
Commissioner Snow,
Yes.
Commissioner Lidke,
Yes.
Commissioner Tippett.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Devin Egan requests conditional use permit approval for a commercial recreation facility located at 7037 South High Tech Drive in the Regional Commercial Zone. Liz is also presenting.
Okay, so this is just for a conditional use for a commercial rec facility. This is just going to be for an all pickleball facility. They have 6 courts in this facility. So they're located just over by Grip 6, if you're aware of this area. And I think the code requires, based on the new standard, should the city council approve it, that they provide 36 parking stalls, and they have well over 70 that they have available here. So I do have a recommended motion. Staff found that it met all the conditional use standards. It would be a conditional approval of the CUP tonight pending the city council approval of that text amendment. Because if they don't get that, then they don't meet the current recreation parking standards. So, any questions for
Can
me?
you go back to the last slide?
Yep.
So is Club Pickleball the same one that's on 90th
I'm not sure.
and Monroe?
I think that they are like a
What that one's
franchise of
called.
pickleball things. I don't know if
Yeah.
they're moving or if that's another location there. But
That's
Yeah, I
the
was
one in the
wondering.
old Lowe's building, so, yeah, I don't know.
So I was just wondering if it's the same brand.
I'm not sure. Yeah, either a franchise or maybe they're moving locations. I haven't heard.
My question is around parking. Is the parking dedicated where it's in like a building with other facilities, or is the?
We usually try to note, we don't obviously make them like stripe or do their parking any different, but for our record-keeping purposes, we like to know, how many stalls are you using in this shared thing versus what another
And
business
it's
is
not,
using.
that's not like added together and saying,
Mm-hmm.
there's 72 for these 5 businesses and they get full credit for all 72.
Right,
Okay.
right. So they do have to provide enough for their individual business. Yeah,
Each of them.
It's the same one.
yeah.
It's the same one
It's the
as
same
90th.
business, yeah.
Oh, okay, so maybe a franchise
Googled it.
location.
I just,
You guys are so fast. Thank you.
No, but I think that's great. That's a great facility, and so it'd be nice to see them expand. And
Awesome.
expand in Midvale
Yeah.
instead of Sandy. Sorry, Sandy.
Thank you, Liz. Would the applicant like to come forward? No?
no,
He's not here tonight.
Okay.
so we just need to open it for a public
Yeah,
hearing?
no comment before then?
No.
Okay, we'll open this up for public hearing. If anyone has any comments?
Seeing none, I move that we close the public hearing portion.
All in-
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Yeah. this-
I don't have any.
Yeah, I don't have any
comments.
comments. I mean, it's still contingent on
The
the
parking.
parking, but I can't see any reason why we wouldn't go ahead and,
I do appreciate that they're sharing parking with Grip 6, which has proven to be a great business in Midvale and works well with
Yeah.
everything in Midvale. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
all right, I'll entertain a motion.
Do we need to change the motion to the
The pending text.
pending?
No, because it's right there, the
It's right
pending
there.
text amendments there, that,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I move that we conditionally approve the conditional use permit with the findings noted in the staff report and with the following condition. 1, the pending text amendment changing the parking requirements for tennis and pickleball facilities is approved by the city council.
Second?
Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Chair Erickson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kasparian,
Yes.
Commissioner Snell,
Yes.
Commissioner Lidke,
Yes.
Commissioner Tippett.
yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. All right. On to item C of the agenda. The Gardner Group requests a text amendment to section 17-7-10.12.1 and 17-7-10.12.5 in the Jordan Bluffs sub-areas 1 through 3 development zone in the Midvale City Municipal Code. This amendment is to replace figures 1 and 2. Johnny's presenting.
Thanks, Chair Erickson. So you guys saw a version of this last year. Let me just skip to the images here. The most significant changes from what was presented to you guys last year is, if you look over here at Pod A and B, for the development going on here, in order for it to meet the code and as well as for the development agreement to move forward, it had to be split for how it was going to be developed. Obviously, the other changes were the public park, the widening, meeting the actual requirements specified and such as that. We found that it meets criteria 1, promotes the objectives of the general plan and purposes of this title. It is part of, one of the larger redevelopment areas here in Midvale, and we want to promote the development of that. And yeah, here's just the image with the roads as well that's being updated. Dave is here from Gardner if you've got any questions for him.
Will you move it back to the last slide?
This one?
Yeah. Just so we have it for reference.
Okay. Cool. Any questions for me?
So to clarify, this is based on how they want to develop the property, is why it's getting split into B1 and B2.
Correct. Yep. Yep.
Okay, thank you. And would you like to present,
Yes,
have some comments?
thank you. David Dennison, Gardner Group. we continue to work on this site, and we have partnered with Wasatch Development, and we're in the process also of submitting for a large-scale master plan that's been revised. If you remember last year, we've been working on this because we kind of scrapped that old 5-story. We've changed it now to be a combination of 4-story tuck-under apartments with some townhomes, which gives us some variation and just a little bit more flexibility. And it's not so ubiquitous as far as or a college campus looking. It's just not all the same exact building, so it kind of gives us a little variation there. And we've adjusted our phasing and our pods a little bit with our tertiary road, which is Sagini that connects to the other side of Ivy, and then we've made sure it will connect in the future to the other side of Bingham Junction into those pods as well. And so we think we hope we have anyway, Vendolin and Adam, we've worked really hard to try to plan for the future, but so we can get these pods to kind of stay very similar as we move forward. But the plan is to work through those through phase 1, 2, and 3. And it's interesting because this morning as I was going through this preparing, I noticed a typo. And did you notice it, Vendolin? You're smiling, so I thought maybe you noticed it. On pod B2, it says View 78 phase 2, but that's actually should say phase 3. And so I've got the architect working on just changing that, and then I'll send that over. Adam, is it okay if I just send those over to you then?
You can even send it to Johnny as well.
To Johnny, okay. I just want to make sure we're clear that there's 3 phases in these first 2 pods. And it's kind of twofold. A, it works well, but it also gives us a little flexibility in that pod B2 to depending on what the market will allow us to do as to what product that becomes. So we've had to do a little bit of juggling, but we've worked really hard. We've cleared kind of that south in B2, the west side. We've cleared that grubbed and cleared that whole area. And I mean, don't hold me to it, but right now we're hoping to start mid to late summer in this. So that's what we're working on now. And we're
Which pod is that?
Pardon?
Which pod are you talking
Pod
about?
A will be phase 1.
Okay.
And then pod B1 will be phase 2.
And B2 will be 3.
And B2 will be phase 3, yeah. And phase A, it has 4, let's see, can I connect to this?
Mhm.
I'll show you, just give you a better idea. It's kind of a combination of the 4-story tuck unders as well as the townhomes. Oh, yeah. There you go. So you can see this is our phase 1, and so you've got these 4-story, you've got a clubhouse center with the clubhouse and pool. And then on lining the road is we've got these townhomes right here. So if you remember that old plan, this does look a lot better than the other one, so.
It doesn't look like a little Ukraine anymore.
It doesn't look like a prison, it's much better, thank you.
I was hoping the prison comment wouldn't be brought up again. That's why I kept calling it a college campus.
Long memories.
Yeah, we do have long memories.
I like that the center isn't just parking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks more accessible, walkable, and accessible by the tenants who live there.
Yeah,
So-
these products, they lend themselves. We have less parking because we've reduced the number of units. It's not quite as dense as we had it before, but we don't have that sea of parking that we had before because the townhomes have garages and these tuck unders have a fair amount of garages too on that first level. So we've done, like I talked to staff, it's been a hard lesson and it's been expensive, but we do feel like it is a better product, so.
Are the townhomes for sale?
This is all for rent because of the nature of the Jordan Bluffs, where it's on the old tailing site. That whole site has to stay under one owner. You can't start selling off individual units. It creates a nightmare for homeowners associations and different things. So these are not a for sale product. But that's kind of by nature of the site that it is. And that's it. Thank you.
That looks a lot better.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question for you before you leave. In the new map, it looks like we eliminate some of the open space. Is that intended?
We've still got a fair amount of trails and open space, but what we did is the park, if you'll remember here I can go to this one here. So this part of the park right here, it crossed Bingham and went into Ivy, but we felt like with the association with that, it wouldn't be good to start mixing that. And it actually worked out good because we spent a lot of time making this. Our development agreement currently has this park as 15 acres, and we've defined it and we've laid it out so it actually is 15 acres. So right there as you see it in this, that's the size that it is. And we still have a fair amount, coming, and we're still working with the development agreement, and hopefully we'll get that resolved shortly so that we can keep our large scale master plan going. So that's kind of the plan.
And we're still having a dog park.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's still requirements for certain number of amenities, and we still have to comply with those. So we're not complying with those. We should be, and you'll see that in the large scale master plan.
Now, the open space is just the bluff edge, right?
That's part of the open space, but there's also a fair amount of open space in some of these pods, for
Now, on Pod K,
Well, on the purpose, for this agenda item, perhaps we're going outside the bounds of what we're discussing this evening. So let's try and focus on pods A, B1, and B2 to stay on track.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's fair. Can we go back to the side-by-side comparison from the old one to the new one? Because,
I think that's, yeah.
yeah.
would be connecting. Does it connect automatically?
He's just switching it.
Okay.
Thank you.
There we go.
well, that open space changes because of the map, because of pods 1A, B, and C.
Actually, Adam, I think that one on the left, the old figure, when we approved the last one, we had that tertiary road connecting. I think that's actually two previous ones than the last one. So, because the last one, we had already eliminated that open space on the west side of Bingham.
Yeah, this is, the one on the left is the one that's in the ordinance currently. The one that was adopted, I think it was last June, right? Or somewhere around then.
Yeah, we had gone to approve through planning commission, but not through city council.
Yeah, yep. And it looked very similar to the one on the right. It's just that the road and pods A, B1, and B2 has since been split, and that road's moved from what was approved last year. It just never went through the process because it was contingent on the development agreement, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that open space isn't going to flow into pod B2
No.
and,
Well, it technically will, because you do have some slope there that's not buildable, so you will have some of that. We just, for this, just to simplify it, we haven't shown that, because we just don't know yet. I mean, with those soils, we're, currently doing surcharging and making sure we can, get them stabilized, but that slopes off from there down to those homes, condos, and it's steep enough that we won't be building on it. So there will be a fair amount
that
of
makes
open
sense.
space there. But
I like how you made the intersection on Ivy Drive so that the two roads meet rather than
Yeah.
having this lopsided.
Yeah, it'll do that on
intersections.
both sides, so.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
All All right, we'll open this up for the public hearing portion. Anyone like to step forward?
Seeing there's no one here for public hearing, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Well, I think it seems pretty straightforward to help with the development, if that's the request to phase it out. I don't know how it works with public record with the typo. Is that a big deal or, okay, so we can just,
We need to include.
That's part of the findings, right?
I don't think you do. I mean, we could ask Daniel
I
if
would
it's a
recommend
problem.
that any motion just has the corrected version that moves to city council, because they need to see whatever that final version is.
Okay.
okay,
And if the only change is phase 2 versus phase 3, I would recommend putting that in the
in the motion, okay. Thank you.
Okay, I move that we recommend approval of the text amendment for section 17-7-10.12.1 and 17-7-10.12.5 in the Jordan Bluff subareas 1 through 3 development zone as provided in the attachments with the findings noted in the staff report, with the correction going to city council for pod 3 that it'll be, or pod 2 will be changed to pod 3.
B2 to.
B2, yeah, B2 to B3,
To phase 3.
to phase 3.
Pod B2 to phase 3.
Correct.
Pod B2 to phase 3.
And with that, I will second that motion.
Aubrey, you got that.
Yeah, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Chair Erickson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kasparian,
Yes.
Commissioner Snow,
Yes.
Commissioner Lidke,
Yes.
Commissioner Tippett.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Continue to work with staff. Thank you. We were getting into pod K and I was,
No, I was just wondering. The area was gone. Didn't like that.
and then new.
It's nice to know that.
That's a blank calendar.
Yeah.
That is a blank calendar. We'll get to that.
Oh, Vandelin's presenting.
Oh, thank you. I included a memo in the packet that's just meant to give you an idea, what we are working on this year and what our goals are a little bit as a city and also as a commission. I wanted to point out 4 things to you. First of all, according to our bylaws, in March we have 2 important things going on. Number 1, we are electing a chair and vice chair. So think about that. Number 2, we are reviewing the bylaws. So it may be a good idea to already start skimming through them a little bit. And if there's anything that you would like changed, or where we should maybe spend some more time, like we did last year on the election process, maybe start thinking about that. Also, the bylaws sometimes are actually a good tool. Let's say if something happened to all of us, and there were 3 new planners here, the bylaws give everyone a little bit of structure. So if there are things that are important to you, we can put them in there, and that ensures that things don't get forgotten about. The other thing I wanted to point out to you is I forwarded an email between the holidays from the APA board. They have another effort to sort of help planning commissions get to know more about their responsibilities and the background of planning. So I just wanted to make sure all of you received that email, and if you have interest and time, please participate. It seemed they were talking about possibly having a Zoom meeting maybe once a month where questions can be discussed. And then just also wanted to let you know that in February we'll talk about the ground rules book again and chapters 4 and 5. Depending on how busy the agendas are, it might either be the first or the second meeting in February. And the calendar is here because our bylaws don't say this, but we have a dinner for you coming up, and normally we've done that in February, and just wanted to discuss with you when a good time is for you.
For the commission or commission plus one?
Commission plus one.
Let's do it February 14th and I can double dip.
A lot of nods over here.
My wife would be a hard
On a
no.
Friday.
So,
I will say,
you're such a romantic.
She's not watching.
it may be a good idea to stay away
Away
from
from that
Valentine's
weekend,
week.
Yeah.
Because last time we thought it took a long time to get into Bohemian. During that week, it may be longer, I'm afraid. So, and
I suggest we go to the new pizza place down the street because it's really good.
Wicked Peel or?
The Bambino.
Bambino.
The Bambino. Well, they have that one room they could
They
close
have
off
a room
for
that they
us.
could close off for us.
that's, I guess we
Yeah.
didn't even think of that one. That's an idea.
I mean, it's
And then
supporting a local business and
Yeah.
it's new and yeah.
And then there's the, what was that steakhouse on 72?
Longhorn.
Longhorn.
Yeah,
They have
Longhorn's
a
good.
banquet room
Do
Yeah.
they?
too, yeah.
That's also a good option, but it's in the end, it's your choice. It's a gift to you from the city for your gift of time and effort. So you tell us.
What day you guys want?
Do we want to do like a Tuesday or a Thursday?
I'm out of town until the 10th of February, just so you know.
Office-wise,
Right, so let's do it
Thursdays
the
work
6th.
better for us.
So,
Thursday, the 20th?
20th?
Yeah, 20th.
Must be all good one.
I don't plan that far in advance.
Yeah.
And
20th works for me.
we still have a little bit of time, so if, if several of you have something coming up, we can always change it. Time-wise, what is a good time for you? We could, last time, I think we've been sort of at 6:30. We could do it a little earlier. Sometimes it's maybe easier to get in again, but if you go to the Bambino, that's maybe not as much of an issue.
They may be nice to us.
Pardon me?
They may be nice to us.
Yes, I hope so. I sure hope
I like
so.
the Bohemian, but it's just, they say that they'll accommodate us, but then they kind of chew us out because we have so many people and they're not ready for us and we'll have to wait. So,
And yes, even though we tried real hard to not have that happen,
Yeah.
we called them several
get there
times.
early and everything, yeah.
Got there in person, and so
So what do we think about the 20th, 6:30 at Bambino's?
Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese? Okay, so the Bambino.
Yeah, I think we should just check with them and make sure they can accommodate us,
Yeah.
but,
And then Plan B Longhorn.
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I will check with them if
Okay.
they can accommodate.
Sounds like a plan. And 6:30 is good?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. And the APA is coming up in Logan.
Yes,
That conference the first week in May.
yes, the APA conference. Of course, then there's also in fall another APA conference that's usually in Salt Lake County, so it's a lot easier to get to. And they haven't really published that yet. Oftentimes, the APA also has smaller events that are sometimes like brown bag lunch events. So when those come up, I'll let you know. And you might also get emails from APA on those.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else to discuss? Nope. I would entertain a motion.
I motion that we end the meeting at 6:34.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Vamos.